This is me, in the Rio Grande River, hopping the border between Mexico and the United States. Just last year alone, over 2 million migrants entered the US this way. And despite Texas trying to stop them with razor wire, floating barriers, and warning signs, hundreds, if not thousands, still cross every single day. And many, unfortunately, do not survive.
Hundreds of migrants have died trying to make a similar journey. A lot more have been stopped by US border police.
But rarely, if not ever, has this process actually been documented from a first-person perspective. So we, as legal American citizens, decided to put ourselves in the shoes of the migrant, at least for the final chapter of their journey, and cross the river ourselves. This would prove to be not the best idea.
One hand, I'll grab you with the other.
Just a few seconds after crossing back into the US, the coyotes we traveled with told us to get down. And as I laid down in the fetal position in the dirt, I could hear the sound of tires coming to a halt and gravel crackling on the road.
Manos arriba. Ven pa acá, usted.
Speak English.
Hands up. Speak English?
Yeah.
Get up. Let me see your hands. Got any guns on you?
No, sir.
Face away from me.
Just a prank, bro.
Usted, manos arriba. Bájate. Súbete. You too. You speak English?
Yeah.
Stand up.
As it turned out, United States Border Patrol had been following us for the past hour using infrared heat sensor cameras from boats. Just a minute later, we were placed under arrest, handcuffed, and put in the back of a Border Patrol vehicle. The agents, however, remained on scene to collect our belongings.
Well, he did go to prison. There's a video about it.
And by some miracle of God, they forgot to turn off the cameras or confiscate our SD cards, which is how you were able to see this footage. We thought we were going to be fine. I mean, truth be told, we didn't think what we did was illegal. But oh boy,
why don't these cameras have like a brick mode, right? Where like it looks off on all counts, but it's not off. It's all of it is off. The interface is off. It's all off, right? But you know for a fact it's on because of some thing. I mean, illegal. I mean, if you're the one that has the camera, I mean, shit.
We wrong. We spent the next 4 days
I'm always in brick mode, but that's just me.
At a migrant processing center in Eagle Pass, Texas. We weren't given a phone call until 48 hours after our detention. But thankfully, we'd brought along 2 additional videographers for this particular shoot, who were stationed safe and sound on the American side while we crossed the river. Here is their story.
My name is Juan Jimenez.
I'm Elliot Liedgren.
And we got brought on.
How is it illegal to have a phone or a camera always recording it when my phone always listens to me? I can say, dick. Out of my phone, it's telling me dick in plastic. Like
to do some B-roll and film for Channel 5. All of us were like so extremely confident, like we're gonna get this crazy video of what people go through like every fucking day.
This is 250 calories to prevent me from dying of hunger, and then this is a knife to maybe cut through weeds up there.
And we were just like excited. I think we were all excited to like be able to get that footage. But yeah, Andrew and Susan went to jail.
All right, so turns out you actually can't do that. So if you're watching this, don't do what I did.
It's a federal offense called failure to report,
AKA illegal entry to the United States.
Punishable by up to 1 year in federal prison and or $5,000 in fines.
You can only enter the United States through an official port of entry with a custom.
Okay, guys, I feel like he definitely cut a deal with them, right? Where he uploads like a video, right? And he educates his audience on not to cross the border. I'm telling you, dude.
Even if you're an American citizen, you cannot hop the border into your own country.
It took a lot longer, honestly, than I initially thought. I mean, I think we were on the other side 2-3 hours or something.
Yeah, at least. So we had their location, and I was like looking at it, and you guys were moving like super slow, but we were rooting for you, you know what I mean? Like, oh fuck, they're probably like, I'm imagining you guys like, you know, crawling through the brush and shit, like fighting off like snakes.
That shit is insane though.
We kept checking like every...
Just refreshing.
Probably,
just
like 10 minutes just being, all right, like, oh, the boys are moving.
They get to the Rio Grande and we're like, fuck yeah, they made it to the fucking river, you know? And slowly see them cross. America, fuck yeah, they made it. Then they get to the other side and they're just like motionless for like, gotta be like 15, 20 minutes. And I was like, word, like, you know, again, envisioning them just like waiting for the BP truck to go by and like, you know, just hiding out like 15, 20, 30 minutes. Like it was like, all right, like fuck's going on here? And then boom, speeding up the highway. And then all of a sudden it was like, bam, like Eagle Pass, South Texas Border Patrol Station. I was like, fuck, bro.
Yeah. As soon as the Border Patrol agent apprehended us right across the river, both the coyotes who brought us across jump back in the river, swim back toward Mexico.
Come back over here. Okay. Get over here.
This left us alone in Border Patrol custody.
So I just told them exactly, you know, what was up. I told them, hey, we're journalists. We're trying to interview some migrants. We interviewed some people on the Mexican side. We just interviewed those guys that brought us across, but we don't actually know who they are, which is true. So they were actually pretty cool. Like the Border Patrol agents, if I remember correctly, they were like understanding. They just said, okay, we're gonna take you to the facility. We're gonna run your IDs, run your name, make sure you have no criminal charges. And then once we check for that, you guys will be good to go. So we thought it was gonna be fine. So we get there to the Border Patrol facility. They take the shoelaces out of our shoes, give us flip-flops, give me this blue outfit, and we walk in. It kind of looks like a DMV or a Department of Licensing, depending on which state you're in. So you know how it is. It's like you got 6 computers behind this like Citadel type center complex. Everyone's typing away, running people's names and shit. We're just sitting there waiting, you know what I mean? So I go up there, they take my fingerprint, they take a picture of me, they ask me a couple basic questions. What were you doing in Mexico? Have you ever been to North Korea? Like, have you ever been to Russia before? Random shit to see if I was like a spy. They were like, and then he was like, all right, cool, sounds good. We'll talk to you in a second. So I sit on one of the benches right there. I'm just waiting to be released, obviously, because I'm like, oh, you know, once they figure out that we are journalists, I was like, look up our channel, you'll see what we do. Like, we meant no ill intent. It's all good. So the Border Patrol dudes start telling me these stories about how they've had to rescue drowning children and how they've had to discover dead bodies floating in the river and just all these traumatic incidents that their job entails, and how they felt like we were kind of making a mockery of their job and the risk associated by trying to cross, which I was sympathetic to. Looking back, I think we did go a bit beyond what is safe and acceptable, but I wanted to get the story, so I figured it made sense at the time. But looking back, I probably wouldn't do it again. I do my interview. Behind me, there had to have been, I would say, like 200 migrants just staring at me through this glass window. And it was like the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. You know, and they were bewildered as well because they were also wearing these outfits, and they saw I was in the outfit and I'm visibly American, and Susan is also visibly American. At first it was a little bit awkward, but then I guess there's some metal star in Latin America that looks just like Susan. What's his name? El Buki. El Buki, I guess they're a big fan. So we hear people yelling, El Buki! And going like this, like, El Buki! Susan just turns back and he's like this, El Buki! And they're all just like, yeah! They were hyped on us, you know?
What the fuck?
And most of these dudes are covered in water from the Rio Grande, like bloodshot eyes. I can't even imagine how long they've been on the road for. Like, if I wasn't mistaken, like most of them were being processed to be sent home. It wasn't like a put you on a bus, take you to Chicago type of situation. It was like kind of dark vibes. And so I'm looking at, you know, all these dudes in the box, as they call it, and I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not going in there. You know, like it's gonna be fine. And so they call me back up and they're like, Callahan, you're being brought up for prosecution. And they're like, illegal entry into the United States. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean illegal entry? Like, I'm not an illegal. And one of them goes, I know you're not an illegal alien, but you did something an illegal alien would do. You know, I asked the dude there, I'm like, all right, let's keep it real. Like, when are we getting out of here? And he's like, probably a couple hours. Remember that? And I'm like, all right, should I wait in here? He's like, no, we're gonna have you wait in the box. I'm just like, dude, no fucking way. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm like kicking and screaming at this moment. I was like, I'm a fucking American citizen and I have rights. And they were like, you're a detainee. And I guess detention status isn't like being processed in a county jail.
So, I mean, obviously, first thing we did was try to call the Border Patrol office. And it's funny, when I was on the phone with them, like, I was starting to realize that they don't operate like regular cops. Like, if you get booked in like a regular county jail, you'll end up on some booking website, like probably by the end of the night. And all the info's there. They'll see when you got locked up, what you're there for. When I called them, they basically said, if you have friends that are here right now, they are under investigation. And if they're under investigation, we're not at liberty to talk about any of this. They didn't have to confirm like whether or not they were there or anything. Like,
being in the custody of CBP is not the same as being in custody of like with the police.
Right.
Because police,
I mean, you want to have a full experience. I mean, he did get one, though.
Everything, all of that. CBP, not so much, because if you're illegal, you don't have constitutional rights. I mean, they could be charged with human trafficking, if they were believed to be so, because, you know, if two guys going across the border and you bring somebody with you, that's human trafficking.
So being a detainee is super weird because you don't have access to traditional jail shit. Like there's no rec time, there's no commissary or like phone calls. So I go into this box, right? Extremely bright room, probably 20 feet wide, 20 feet long, 20 by 20 room with maybe 60 migrants in there, all huddled up next to each other. There's one giant jug of Gatorade in the middle. They have a tiny TV in there, and that movie Marley and Me was playing.
I love that movie.
The golden retriever dies. Spoiler alert. And there's one sink and one toilet for 50 people. Whew! That did not stop dudes from shitting. Man, I've never smelled gnarlier shits in my life. I walk in and they were like, ¿Por qué estás aquí? And I was like, soy americano. And they're like, americano y estás aquí? ¿Por qué? And so I became like a real golden goose up in that pod. There's this big ass tag on the wall that says MS Honduras, like, you know, MS-13 Honduras. All these fucking dudes in there start pointing to it and they're like, Mira, Mississippi! Aha, Mississippi!
Guys, I'm gonna skip chat because I get the point.
Susan is in the other pod across the way. So I see.
Guys, I want you to video chat. It's something that I'm just not interested. It is what it is. I'm skipping. I don't want to watch it.
Him, I don't know what it was, but I see him sitting there. And this Haitian dude was looking at Susan like he was trying to like run his cheeks type vibes. You remember him? I look over at you. I see you, and this Haitian dude looking.
Guys, yeah, it has nothing to do with it. I don't want to watch it. I just don't want to watch it.